Hi, my name's Scott Stollar, and I help overwhelmed heirs leverage property to reclaim their lives. You may have just lost a loved one, and you're probably wondering when you can ask who the trustees are. Well, if you're a beneficiary, you have the right to know. And the simple answer is that as soon as you're comfortable. Now, you probably shouldn't let too much time go on, especially if you have dynamics in your family or in the situation that you're not comfortable with or that you're not fully trusting of. The successor trustees have a fiduciary duty to all of the beneficiaries. They need to provide accounting for the estate, they need to give you a copy of the trust, and in that copy of the trust, there is a page declaring who the successor trustees are. So you can see there in plain, clear English who the responsible party for the estate is. I had a client who lost her husband years ago. When she lost her husband, she was so distraught that she couldn't call her stepkids and let them know that the dad had passed away. Right away, when a family member found out about this, they decided to call the stepchildren just to let them know, because they thought that they were owed the courtesy to know that their father had passed away that weekend. When this family member reached out to the stepchildren to let them know that their father passed, they immediately started shouting at the person who called, asking where the trust was, if they'd seen the trust. Now, this person hadn't seen the trust, and that was actually a really good thing. They didn't know the trust. They had no business in it. They weren't a beneficiary. It was outside of information that was available to them. When you ask right away upon the news of hearing that a loved one passed away, you'll probably get a different response than if you wait a couple of days or a week. Most people expect your first concerns to be where the services are, what they need help with. And when you ask a successor trustee or someone who lost a loved one what they need help with, they're not going to be able to tell you. They're trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and they have no idea where to start. It's important to keep in mind that resolutions before conflict foster harmony. When you have a plan to be transparent, you say, I don't have a copy of the trust right now, and as soon as we take care of the funeral arrangements, notifying the family members, and taking care of the initial responsibilities, we'll get the trust together, figure out who we need to contact and how we need to share that information and who we need to share it with. We'll be checking to make sure that you're a beneficiary, and if you are, we'll be supplying you with a copy. And I'm sure there's a much nicer way you can say that based on your relationship with the person who's speaking with you, asking who the beneficiary is. When you have a copy of the trust, there may be a will included. It may mention a lot of personal property and real estate. And in there, you'll also be able to see what the instructions are or any conditions for the distribution of an estate. I'm sure you've seen the movies where someone goes, well, you can get $10 million from your deceased uncle if you could spend 30 days in this haunted mansion, or some wacky thing like that. You may even see more civilized items like, you can't sell the home until I've been dead for 6 months. There are conditions to trust pretty commonly. I've even seen one where an older person's parents passed away. They'd been married to their spouse for many, many years. And the trust actually said, as long as you're still married to that person, no money for you. Pretty crazy, right? There are wild things like that, and that's why it's important to give all the beneficiaries a copy of the trust. Also, if the successor trustee is going to lawyers and not reporting back or not sharing information, it's important that the beneficiaries let them know that they're uncomfortable with that. This goes back to resolutions before conflict foster family harmony. If you have the resolution, you're being transparent, you have the answers, hey, these are the steps that we're doing, this is where we're at, this is the next step, and you're going to create a lot more harmony with the beneficiaries, whether you're related to them or not.